In year 2021, when I had about 2,000 subscribers, I was a Viper Mini user, and since it got phased out and I sold my own Viper Mini, it's just really sad for me that we couldn't get any other Viper Mini shapes out there. But thanks to Rakk, they released the Talan Aero with the shape of the Viper Mini, and this time they upgraded it to 8000 Hz polling rate, Omron optical micro switches, and can also be customized via a web driver. So Mac users and Windows users don't need to worry about software compatibility or maybe even downloading a software for this device. Then they also retained the hot swap battery, so you don't need to wire this mouse ever when you run out of battery. Anyways, my name is Daniel with the Biboyharanero team. One day I will be replaced, just saying. But anyways, we've been reviewing keyboards, mice, and audio gear since 2019, so consider subscribing and be updated with our weekly uploads until the end of time. Now back to the Rakk Talan Aero X. I used this for gaming over at Delta Force, and it was very responsive, very reliable, I would say, and thanks to the 8000 Hz polling rate, you get competitive level response time. And I have tested a lot of mice with the Pixart 3395 in the past, and this sensor has never failed to produce accurate tracking on all mice that I've tried. This has a maximum tracking speed of 650 inches per second, which is what I think is overkill, as based on my tests, around 300 inches per second is good enough. I also forgot to mention that this has a tri-mode wireless connectivity, so it can be connected also via Bluetooth. And then another pro here is something I've already mentioned, is that it has a web-based driver, so you don't need to download anything online. Now, let's explore that here real quick.
Okay, so I have here not the software, but the software options for the Talan Aero X. We have the web software right here and Windows installer. So say you're using a Mac, probably use the web software, and anyways, this is what it's going to look like. So in the first tab right here, you can do your key binding settings over there. Key response time, I left that as is. I don't touch that ever in any of my mice. And then you also have the profiles right here. Here in the next tab, which is the DPI settings tab, you have 6 total DPI settings to choose from, and then the polling rate. You also have a mode to select here, which I believe is low power, high power. I believe this has something to do with battery power and sensor accuracy, but I could be wrong. I've been gaming on low power all this time. I didn't even check, but it performed just okay. I did not notice anything wrong or any jitters or inconsistencies with the software. You have LOD right here, and also another setting right here, highest performance. I'm not really sure what this is for because we already have HP right here, and we have another checkbox for highest performance here. Anyways, have all of these turned off, I suggest, just so that your mouse will move according to your movements without any smoothing. Now, I tried to record a macro right here, and it doesn't detect your mouse clicks. So if I click on start recording, I click on right click, and yeah, it's not recording it, but you can insert right click or middle click or left click right here. Now moving on to the next tab, we have here the DPI effect, which is the lighting effect, pretty much self-explanatory. So on this tab, you have here sleep time, which is self-explanatory, and long distance mode. I've personally never seen this mode on any other mice before, but yeah, I mean, good to have it there. And then lastly, you have here your restore settings and dongle pairing options. That's pretty much it.
Inside the box, you get its paracord cable with a USB-C to USB-A female adapter. You get documentation, grip tapes, extra dot feet, and an extra battery pack. By the way, you can purchase another battery pack from Rakk if you need another extra. I love that they added in a C to A female adapter, so you can connect your USB dongle straight to the cable. The paracord cable is fairly flexible, yet again, with its replaceable battery, you'd never need to connect this to your mouse. Then as for those batteries, they have USB-C inputs for charging. Then I weighed those batteries and they were 10 grams heavy. So in other words, you may remove the battery pack and connect this mouse via wired, so the mouse can weigh as low as 44 grams. And it's really cool how low the weight can go, even without holes on the outer shell. Now going over this mouse, overall it's very sturdy, even if you press on all sides of the mouse. There will be no creaking, at least for my unit, there's none. Then as for the feet, they are standard and I have no complaints regarding them. It's good though that they have rounded edges so they don't scratch on your mouse pad. Then as for the scroll wheel, there's ample feedback when scrolling up or down. Then when pressing the scroll wheel, it doesn't require a lot of pressure, so it's really easy to click. Speaking of clicks, this mouse does not have a lot of pre-travel on all its buttons, and they feel feels snappy without the mushiness. The overall build quality is really good, from the clickers to the body, the feet, and even the box inclusions. Our friends at Rakk also sent over their Matik headset, which is a budget headset, and let's go over that here real quick. Hey guys, how's it going? This is the Rakk Matik that I'm using right now. It's only 300 pesos, $6 US. And if I were to give you my quick comments on this headset, also sent over by our friends over at Rakk, it's a very easy product to recommend based on its price. If I were to compare it with higher end audio gear, it's not gonna be fair. So if 300 pesos is all that you have, this headset, it will do the job. The microphone will do the job. Though it's not as clear, it's not as full as higher end or higher priced headsets, it will still do the job. When I first tried this headset, in fact, I guessed its price at around 600 to 800, but again, it's only 300 pesos. Very easy to recommend. Plus, it's comfortable around my ears, it doesn't press on my glasses, and it also doesn't press on top of my head. As you can see, perfect fit. And also very good seal around my ears. So yeah, this is the Rakk Matik. Let's go over a quick mic test. Yo guys, before we proceed, I have here the Rakk Matik, and this was sent over by Rakk as well, along with the Talan Aero X, for me to give you my comments around it. So in terms of overall grip, because of its Viper Mini shape, it just blended instantly with my hand. A feature here that is super similar with the Viper Mini is the tall hump around the palm rest, which makes it really comfortable to hold onto and palm. I also found that I don't need to add in grip tapes on this mouse to improve grip, but that's of course something you may do, but I think it's not necessary. Now going over its weight, my scale says this is a little bit over 54 grams, but if you remove the battery and connect this wired, then you can use the mouse at 44 grams only. Another feature here that's very similar to the Razer Viper Mini are the grooves around the clickers. Personally, I think they feel good and they add an ergonomic touch to the mouse, but some gamers that I know of do not like any kind of curvature onto the clickers. Then looking at the sides of the mouse, you will see grooves in it as well, and it's also tapered to be more narrowed down as you go lower. Then looking at the sides of the mouse, you will see the grooves in it as well, and it is also tapered to be more narrow down the bottom of the mouse, so it helps with the lift-offs. And yeah, speaking of lift-offs, you can customize the lift-off distance of the mouse from 1mm to 2mm. I forgot to mention that a while ago. But anyways, the side buttons aren't too far from the rear of the mouse, allowing my short thumbs to reach it perfectly fine. So overall grip and shape is a no-brainer, and I'm really happy that the Razer Viper Mini is back, but with better, higher performing specifications, and it's even branded by a company that originates from my home court, the Philippines. Onto the sensor performance. Again, this mouse is very highly reliable as I never experienced any jitters with the mouse and also no inconsistencies throughout the hours of my test. My crosshair goes where I want it to go, and right out of the box, all you really need to do is set up the DPI and keybinds and you're pretty much good to go. With a 3395 sensor, replaceable battery, and acceptable weight given its build, I think this is a very highly competitive mouse around the $50 budget or 2,500 Philippine pesos. It's very easy to recommend. The ambidextrous shape would suit many, if not all hands, yet this is subjective preference, of course. Now, do I think this mouse is an upgrade over sensors like 3360, 3370, or 3389? Not very much so, but the features of this mouse is one I've never seen on any other mice before. So if convenience and performance together is something you're looking for, then this is a mouse I could highly recommend for you guys, because for its price, again, very easy to recommend, plus the shape has already been tried and tested throughout time. And up to this day, I should say, this legendary mold has to be protected. And of course, with that said, links will be in the description below, so go check them out. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section down below, and we'll see you guys again next time. Goodbye.